Codeine were an American indie rock band from New York. They existed from 1989 to 1994, during which time they created two albums, and they've had two brief reunions since. They have been credited as being foundational for the slowcore and sadcore genres of music. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the debut album by the band and my first encounter with them. So I don't, if I have heard any of their stuff before, I'm not aware of having done so. I think I've heard of the name before. Um, so um, Doing these album reviews has been quite a voyage of discovery for me in terms of finding out that music hasn't just stayed still for the last 20 years. All sorts of things have happened, but some of them have been quite subtle potentially. And also there's been a whole creation of a whole new set of genre names that, to be honest, in the past and still to some extent, I found quite baffling. And here we come across slowcore and sadcore for these two. So I've heard of slowcore now, and I've heard some stuff that's been described as slowcore. I've heard some Low. I've heard some Red House Painters, and yeah, I'm forming a reasonable opinion of this stuff. I would say that this is different to those things that I've heard before. So it has some stuff in common with it, in that it's slow and somewhat depressive, um, kind of deliberately. But the thing that's different is the fact that it's backed by a really aggressive guitar sound, which gives it this curious tension to the whole thing. So mostly this music is bass, drums, and guitar. It's kind of like you'd imagine indie rock, but slowed down quite a lot. It's kind of in some ways so that stuff that's slow that I've come across before was doom metal. So um, um, Black Sabbath, back in the early 70s, kind of invented this new way of doing rock, which was slow and sluggish, and that was called doom metal. Well, this is slow, but it's not sluggish in the same way. It doesn't have that kind of feeling of sludge to it. It's kind of got more aggression to it. Um, Not all the time. Sometimes it's more mellow, but there is this general feeling of aggression, sometimes of chaos as well. So the end result's quite intense. Surprisingly, to me, I think I quite enjoyed it. I found it quite engaging. Um, let's pick out Second Chance, which is a track that has some sparse and quite chaotic guitar stuff going on in the background. Background's not the right word, but behind um, the singing. And I'm going to pick out P, which is the last track, which I liked less, but where the focus was on acoustic guitar. And I think this kind of emphasised the fact that it was the combination of the depressed voice and the depressed lyrics and the intense guitar that I found quite engaging. So I kind of liked it, and I'd be interested to know what you think. So please talk to me through the comments box. That's it from me for now.